Hey, this is Dragonfeather, and I'm here to do a video on my tips for meditation. And I believe this is a very important video because a lot of people struggle with meditating because it is a difficult thing to master and to do. So my suggestions, or my 3 tips that I'm going to give you guys, should help you with this, and should help you meditate better, and should help you get a little more of a grasp on it. So my first tip is to get comfortable. Now, a lot of people know the classic meditation pose is sitting on some, silk or under some tree with your legs crossed and your hands in this weird position and you making that silly sound going om kind of thing, and some people do meditate that way. However, most people don't. I don't do that because I don't take it seriously that way and I start giggling. And you do not want to start giggling in the middle of a meditation session. So, with that being said, get comfortable. If that means that meditating laying down on your bed or on the couch or somewhere, then meditate laying down. If that means standing up, you can meditate standing up, that's fine. If it means meditating while sitting in a chair, sitting upright with your back straight, and your hands in your lap, then do that. If it means sitting on the ground in that silly pose, in that silly position, then do it. Just make sure you're comfortable and you're in a comfortable situation and in a position that won't be strenuous on your body. And my second tip is it's to not quiet mental chatter, because that's not what we're trying to do. The second tip is to focus. And a lot of people say to focus, you need to shut off all your thoughts and make sure you're not thinking about anything, when that is quite opposite of what you should do. Our human brains are designed to think quite literally all the time, hence the reason why we dream while we sleep. So because of that reason, you're going to think, no matter what. You're going to think if you're awake especially. Now granted, meditating is a different form of consciousness, but the way you get there is not by shutting your brain off. It's by letting your brain relax. And some ways that you can do this is you can focus on your breathing. And that's probably one of the most classic ways that I've heard to focus. However, it's not the way that I use, because I find that that's not enough for my brain to focus. So what I do is I envision a vast ocean, a vast, beautiful ocean, and I'm sitting under the water in a beautiful reef, seeing the sunlight reflect off the top, and I'm sitting in the crisscross leg position, which is how I meditate, and I'm very relaxed, and I'm trying to enjoy the scenery. However, these thoughts that I do not like or do not want in my head, I envision them as fish swimming on by me. And when I envision them swimming on by me, I see them, which means I acknowledge them, and then I let them go and I let them be. And when I do that, it's much easier to focus and let things move on more in a smooth manner, instead of I can't think about that kind of thing. So it's very calm. You're just acknowledging it and not giving it much attention. So that's one technique that I use. And some people use the truck method, which is very similar. You imagine yourself on a highway, and each thought that you don't like or don't need or isn't relevant to what you're doing just drives on by, and you wave to it saying goodbye to the thought for now. So those are some ways to help focus. And my third tip is to meditate with a crystal. And when you meditate with crystals, at first, it gives you something to focus on, because whether you know how to use crystals or not, or have you ever worked with them or not, they do emit energies, and they do emit certain frequencies. And it doesn't matter how big or small the stone is. It can be as small as the ring on my finger, or it can be as big as my amethyst crystal cluster that many of you have seen in my videos. It can be huge, it can be big, it can be bulky, it can be tiny, it can be concise, it can be rounded, it can be whatever stone you want. It can be a crystal. I suggest crystals to stones, but stones will suffice and do the job. And when you meditate with these crystals, it gives you something to focus on. You can focus on their energy and hone in on their energy and feel what they feel like in your hand and resting in your palm, and feel their aura and their energy. And when you have something like that to focus on, it makes it more difficult to think about other things at the same time, and to think about what Becky wore and how gross it looked on her figure, or what Joe did yesterday. kind of thing, and it makes it to where you don't necessarily always gravitate towards your everyday thoughts that you have. It gives you something to break away from. And if you start meditating quite frequently with this crystal, you're going to develop a relationship with your stoner crystal, and it'll be kind of a precursor to when you pick up the crystal, you already feel relaxed, because that's what you do with that crystal, is you meditate with it. And by meditating with it constantly, you're setting its energies to be more of a meditative state and at that kind of consciousness. So my 3 tips are to get comfortable. Don't be afraid to meditate in a weird position, even if it's awkward. As long as it's comfortable, get comfortable. Now, try to focus is my 2nd tip, and my 3rd tip is to meditate with a crystal. And something else that I do recommend is setting a time limit at first. If you aren't good at meditating, set a 10-minute time limit to meditate. And just keep doing that every day. And the more you practice and the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So, put some effort in. Meditating isn't easy, and I know it's not easy, but it is my recommendation for pretty much answering everything. So, that's my video. I really hope this helps you guys. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below and let me know, and I'll get back to you guys. But until next time, blessed be, and bye!